you might say that Meghan Markle is nothing but, well, pushy, to be kind, right? Here she is at the moment in the throes of trying to make her business. Was it American Riviera Orchard? Oh no, that went, didn't it? As ever, always love Meghan. And it's now coming up to a very pivotal time in the level of her company. On a more serious note, her final show for Netflix goes out within a matter of weeks. And the bigger problem that you've got with that is really you have to say, this won't work. I don't mean that unkindly, but people have seen what you've got to offer. It's not one of those things where you're going to rush back to. Now, Netflix know this, hence the reason they've released them from their deal so that, as Meghan put it, she can find maybe a better suit or whatever for whatever she's coming up with next. You get the picture. But behind the scenes, Meghan and her team are desperately furrying away to try and find out exactly where the next money's going to come from. As ever, let me explain. All in chums, lovely to see you as ever. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join me, and I hope you're keeping well. When I say that about a business, I don't mean that unkindly, because having worked in business myself a long time, you've got to put a lot of effort into it. But the problem with Meghan Markle's business has always been Meghan Markle. You can see from these very well ill-advised Instagram posts, the messages, it's very, very confusing as to what she's actually selling. And then also, as many people have found out, and many have ordered this, the jam, the box. What's the point of the box? It's an unnecessary cost that really doesn't add anything to it. Oh, according to Meghan, you can put your pencils in it and all of that sort of stuff. But reality-wise, really, why do you want that? It's not a keepsake. It doesn't have, say, even if you're a fan, her signature on or her picture. And many people might want that. Trust me, that would have been a better marketing ploy. But behind the scenes, as you can imagine, things are proving very difficult and very tough for Meghan. And as you know, when she recently sat down with Bloomberg Originals, well, she didn't really want to share facts and figures, which was an absolute pointless idea of literally sitting down with the business channel and not saying, this is the prediction, this is where I'm going to be. There was a lot of waffle, Q4s and all that. We all know those business terms. It really means nothing. Quarter four means the fourth part of the business. If you've not made any money in 1, 2 and 3, there's nothing to talk about in 4. You get the picture. Now, according to an excellent source though, Meghan, you see, took the opportunity in particular to try and mix and mingle with some of the big hitters recently on a couple of nights out. Firstly, alongside her friend, the tennis ace Serena Williams. Lots of rich people there and many people that might want to invest. This is what her latest team have suggested. Meet and press flesh. You can't get investors unless they meet what they're buying. Meghan believes that when people meet her, they will believe that she's a very good idea to tune into, to perhaps connect with and make some money from. The problem is, and this is the thorny problem of course, that very quickly they decide, can they possibly look at the books? And this happens in any business. Here's where this is interesting though, because Meghan, as you know, was very keen to break bread, meet, chat, whatever you want to call it, with the billionaire Jeff Bezos. A very clever man, and I don't know if you know this, but he starts the very first hour with a total ban on things like social media, just focusing on himself, having a cup of coffee, maybe reading a book, a sort of crossword or something. Very good advice that, Jeff, because it means that your mind is not crowded from the minute you get up. Not like a lot of businessmen that jump straight on the phone, looking through messages. Jeff apparently likes to ease himself in the day. Whether you like it or not, it must work. He's very successful, right? Hence the reason that Meghan was very keen to connect. The problem that Meghan has, of course, is that Jeff recently got married to a beautiful lady called Lauren Sanchez. And Lauren really has had a career herself and done her very best to get on. You get the picture. Where this is really interesting though is that you see Jeff, perhaps in the previous point, may have been interested in perhaps connecting with Meghan and looking to see if there was an investment worth investing in. But you see now, Jeff and Lauren discuss and do everything together. As you can imagine, they are a unit, they see themselves together, moving forward in their brand new life. Let's not forget that Lauren went up on the spaceship alongside the other astronaut, Gayle King, amongst others. Of course, you'll notice Oprah Winfrey didn't. And according to an excellent source, the idea was muted to Meghan. Did she miss that opportunity? You understand what I'm saying? So for Meghan to believe that she's now going to be able to pitch to somebody like Jeff Bezos, the problem that you've got is not whether your business is worthwhile or investing in or whatever you want to call it. The bigger issue really is you've got to get past not just one person, but two. And that, as we know, sometimes can be very difficult when you've got two eyes staring at you in the boardroom, looking to see exactly whether they or you can turn it around. Truly, it's a developing story. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.